rotation question. Is that something you're ready to share? Or?
Yeah, we've had those conversations with our guys. So we will go Perry on Friday. We'll go Shanneman in game 2, so the first game on Saturday. Dawson McCarville will go game 3, and Braxton Bragg will go game 4 Sunday. So.
What went into that decision, and kind of how did you evaluate those guys as the ones who were ready to do it?
Yeah, with Perry and Shanneman, they were so neck and neck. I mean, they both performed at a really high level. Didn't get to see Perry a lot in the fall. Feel like he's fully healthy now. Shanneman, like I said, they're 1A, 1B. Those guys have been involved in almost all the conversations with the coaches together. They're captains, and it just really for us it came down to a potential matchup problem that maybe having a left-handed pitcher on Friday could create another team. Maybe thinking about changing their lineup. Lefty maybe tends to shut down the running game a little bit at times. We saw that with Povich last year on Friday. So couldn't go wrong either way, but feel excited about the 4 guys that we have leading the way this weekend.
We've seen from Dawson so far, obviously good outings last season, but what about since he's come over?
Yeah, so I would say I would describe his fall as a little bit up and down. I think he may have at times tried to do a little too much, just coming in with a bunch of veteran pitchers and maybe just trying to prove his worth a little bit too much. I think he's settled in this spring, understanding what's the expectation of him was, come in and be a guy that could be at the front of games for us. And he's going to be a guy that, he can sink the ball. He's really refined the slider, and the changeup has been a good equalizer pitch for him against left-handed hitters especially. And we've seen that all kind of come together this spring. He was in that mix after the fall. We knew that maybe what we had seen in the fall wasn't exactly what he was capable of, and he's been outstanding. Very sharp, very competitive, all the things that you would hope to see in a fifth-year guy, and high character individual and great teammate. And so yeah, he's really got it all together this spring.
Well, are you guys ready?
We're ready. Yeah, we got one more practice here today, a short little situational scrimmage, fine tune some things, and then we'll get on a plane tomorrow and have a couple practices down at Sam. But yeah, I know our guys are ready to just go, play against somebody else at this point. But we're excited.
What about Braxton Bragg? What do you see from him?
Yeah, I would say I would categorize Bragg as probably the most consistent pitcher we've had over the course of the last, I guess, since August. He, looking at his season last year, didn't go the way he had hoped. He had a great start to the year. He came in relief in Povich the first game. And you look back at his season last year, he was better in extended outings. And then he went and had a great summer as a starter. Came in this fall. He's always been a strike thrower. The quality of strike is better now. Fastball to both sides of the plate. Again, he's got to be mentally tough to kind of overcome some of the tough times that he had last year. So he's been very, very consistent, very mentally tough. Knows who he is now. He's a third-year guy, and I think he certainly deserved a shot on the first weekend from what he's shown us over the course of the last 6 months.
Hey, Will, how would you define your lineup, your order, your offense? I mean, how would you characterize this lineup?
Yeah, I think it always remains to be seen until you actually get in the fire. At first glance, I don't know that this team is going to be maybe as small ball oriented maybe as we've seen maybe the first couple of years we've been here. Not to say that it's not going to be a weapon for us, not to say that it's a tool in our tool belt, so to speak, but I think there may be just more guys in the lineup that can get you an extra base hit, and there's some athleticism there too. So I just think it's a lineup that's got a shot with some guys that have been pretty successful at this level and some guys that are young that have got a lot of talent. So again, we'll see how it all comes together, but I think there's strength up and down the lineup, and so may lead to maybe swinging away a little bit more at times than maybe we've seen.
Okay.
In your experience, Will, how enlightening is the first weekend in terms of seeing what guys do in games that count with the spotlight, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it makes or breaks anybody's season, but I do think, especially for a young player, you get to see his reaction with the lights on for the first time, and kind of how that goes, and that maybe gives you a little bit of an insight as to, if they're a guy that could potentially play every day or not, or maybe you have to ease them into it. I just think there's so many different moving parts with the pitching staff, especially with kind of what we have this year. We've got a lot of veteran guys, and we're trying to find the right pieces of the puzzle. And in a perfect scenario, we've got it all figured out right now, and we can roll with it all spring. Everybody stays healthy, and it's all great. But yeah, I just you're going to find some snippets here and there of maybe what you can expect. And last year we had the same rotation almost the entire year, so there's been years like that too. But yeah, it's not a make or break part of the season, but we all know that every game's super important when you have the goals that we have.
Kyle's a pretty playful guy. He's got a big personality. When he's pitching, does he turn that off, or is that just kind of how he is even as he competes?
Oh no, he's pretty serious on game day when he's out there. I don't really say much to him, and don't really need to say much to him. He knows who he is, what he's trying to accomplish, and it's kind of a personal attack on each guy. I mean, he's up there, trying to just compete as well as he can against every single hitter, and that's what makes him very, very successful. And I think that's what you'll see from each guy that takes the ball.
What do you know about, I guess, what are the challenges of Sam Houston, and then maybe what kind of team have they been under Coach Sirianni, who you guys know pretty well?
Yeah, so they're a very tradition-rich program. I mean, if you're in the state of Texas especially, all about Sam Houston State baseball. I mean, there's been a long list of really good head coaches that have been there, and I think they've won 6 of the last 9 conference championships, and regionals, and they won a regional when Coach Harvell was there in 2017 for the first time in school history. And Coach Sirianni, who's the head coach now, was my teammate at Nebraska for a year, and a good friend, and he's been a recruiting coordinator and pitching coach for a long time before he got this opportunity. So a lot of guys that have been around a lot of winning, and I know their entire staff really well. They work hard at it. Their teams are always going to compete. That's the brand of baseball that they've had there for a long time. They're never going to be intimidated. I mean, they're playing good teams every Tuesday outside of conference. The years that they're winning conference, they're going toe-to-toe with the best in the state of Texas. So they're a very tradition-rich program, and they're going to be well coached.